The National Labor Relations Board reported that union representation petitions increased by 57% in the first half of 2022. The boom sparked by Starbucks and Amazon workers across the country had its moment, but faded, with union membership ending the year at the lowest rate on record with just 10.1% of all workers. Now, with over 170,000 Hollywood writers and actors striking in New York and Los Angeles, union organizing is once again at the forefront when it comes to the workplace debate. Joining us now, David Madland, Center for American Progress Senior Fellow and Senior Advisor at the American Worker Project. Thank you so much for being here, David. And something that I've been so fascinated by really throughout the pandemic is this sort of shifting balance, if you will, in worker power versus the employer power. Where do we stand right now, and what does that strike in particular show us about where we stand?
Well, the strike's still ongoing, so I think we'll have to wait till the end. But what I think where we are with worker power versus employer power is, for decades, employers have had more power. Their profits have been increasing while wages have largely been stagnated. And workers have been increasingly frustrated by that. And so that's why you see this growing interest in joining a union or strikes and the like. And so this writers and actors strike, I think, is the latest test there. And the other parts about power that I think are important is sort of shifting technology has often given employers more power. So with the writers' strike, the streaming technology meant that they were losing some of the residuals that they were used to get, and whereas the profits for their employers were doing quite well. So, but it's also a full employment economy right now, which helps the workers. So I think we have this balance of technology pushing towards the employer side, but full employment pushing towards the worker side. And the strike is a good test of where we're going to end up.
Let's talk about the ripple effect, David, to the economy in general. We've done some reporting on the impact of the writers' strike to other jobs within that industry. The longer this goes on, the more difficult it becomes, in particular when you think about entertainment and whatnot. What is the line that gets drawn where it finally kind of come to some kind of resolution?
Well, that's the hope. No one in the short run, a strike is not good for anyone. The workers, the writers lose clearly for, a long period of time that they don't get an income, but also the studios are losing out. They're not producing. It's a test. No one can answer that in advance. It's a test of sort of your commitment as well as your kind of financial resources. Oftentimes, corporations have the larger financial resources and they can wait out the workers, but sometimes the workers' commitment is greater, that they really, really care. They feel that this is something personal at stake. And in this case, with the writers, the use of artificial intelligence, I think, feels particularly personal, that writers feel like they are creating something new and different that can't be replaced, and they want some control over that. So I think that gives them a greater resolve than they might otherwise have.
David, over time, are unions effective at getting workers' wages and other benefits increased?
Of course, no doubt. Generally, unionized workers make about a little over 10% more than similar workers, similar education and like. And it's also, as the graphic is highlighting, it's really important for closing the gender pay gap that unions provide a particular boost for women workers. And they also, of course, increase benefits, more likely to have health benefits and retirement. And that leads to, the safer workplaces. There's a whole host of things, but it also is about a voice and having an ability to sort of discuss on more even terrain with your boss. And I think that's this combination of these financial benefits, but also the sort of voice and power and a feeling of being listened to that is really what the unions can help deliver for workers, and why we are seeing this really significant resurgence in interest in unions. You mentioned at the top this. So I'll let you go in. Sorry.
Well, I was actually going to say, so yes, sure, interest in unions, but there's been a deceleration in actual union participation. So why is that?
Yeah, this big difference. So right now, union support is the highest it's ever been. About 70% of the public support unions now, and half say they would like to join a union if they could. But unfortunately, the law for how workers form unions is really broken and weak, and it gives employers significant ability to pressure and workers to not join a union. And if employers break the law, the penalties are very, very weak. So, for example, it's illegal to fire a worker for trying to form a union, but there's almost no financial penalty for doing so. So it happens with some regularity, which makes workers afraid to exercise their basic rights.